So, I just watched the new episodes of The Owl House and it exceeded my expectations to a certain extent. That doesn't mean it's amazing though. I feel like I have to say this, but after the series went on hiatus, I had some time to rewatch and think about my reviews and the overall show, and my opinions have definitely changed. So I'm going to be a little harder on the show now and pull way more punches that I gave the show initially. That means that I gave it some forgiveness, but now, I'm not going to show it as much leeway. Anyway, let's jump into the first episode of Season 2. Yay! So, what to say about this episode? Well, it's a definite improvement over the series premiere in the previous season, as the voice acting and animation has definitely been refined and improved. Performances seem more earnest and less forced, as the voice actors have a better grasp on their overall characters, and the animation is so good that I am actually jealous. The lighting, the techniques, and the backgrounds look so crisp and well defined. Overall, the episode was fine. One thing I can definitely praise is Lilith making her debut as part of the main group. Now, I have my own personal biases, and her character, as much as I adore her, is incredibly flawed. I have a really big problem with her redemption arc if it existed, which it doesn't, and that's the problem. While Lilith's character is incredibly likable, how she got there makes very little sense, and her being forgiven happens really fast. Like, almost 3 episodes ago she was trying to capture Ida and legitimately almost killed Luz, which made Ida go into Ultra Instinct Super fucking Saiyan mode. So like, I don't know how you can redeem somebody in less than 3 episodes, but they did it and it does not work. Other problems that I have is how strong Luz is in this episode. Like, look at these clips, they are getting ridiculous.
Help it, boys! Put your backs into it!
You want to learn a second spell?
With all my heart.
Then you have to learn from the island. Now look. And think about what the island is trying to tell you.
I would sort of understand her becoming stronger if after Youngblood Old Souls there was a time skip to maybe in a couple of months, maybe a year, but apparently summer hasn't even ended yet, so at the maximum it's been around 2 or 3 months. What ticks me off is that this problem is really easy to fix with just an extra flashback or some throwaway line. Instead, she just has these powers and can pull out a glyph like whenever she wants, all willy-nilly, no technique, when even in episode 2, spoilers by the way, it is implied that she uses strategy and complex glyph magic, which, what? Yeah, the complexities of smacking a paper with a drawing on it. Like, please, she just throws it out there however she wants. I can do it myself. Alright, let's take a little detour because we will be coming back to an even bigger criticism later on. But let's take a minute to talk about the new character introduced. Owl Mask Guy, or Tyre, I don't know. Let's just say from his appearance at the end of Youngblood Old Souls, his design had me under the impression he would have a sleek, deep voice and act very nonchalant about his job, like he's tired. But nope, he is a bratty, flamboyant maniac and I love it. I think his scenes were handled extremely well and his introduction was perfect. It had the right amount of ominous and funny. He also wasn't a weak villain, which is pretty rare nowadays. He is shown to be arrogant, but he isn't bluffing. Throughout the episode's 3rd act, he displays how easily he could kill, capture, maim, and pretty much do whatever he wants to loosen Ida. The only reason that he stopped was because he was tricked, and even then, he wasn't shown to even care at that point and just wanted to get the job done because he was bored or something. I seriously hope they don't pull a goddamn Steven Universe and give him some stupid forced character redemption arc, or purposely weaken him to let Luz beat him up or something. That'll be super lame and a disservice to this type of character, which I feel like does not deserve a redemption arc because he'd be way more funner as a villain. Alright, let's get into that big criticism of this episode, and that is adhering to the status quo which a lot of American cartoons could fall under, and the Owl House suffers the same problem with convenience to maintain that status quo. Let's take for instance the conflict of this episode, and that is that without Ida's door, she can't sell anything at the market, so they are in poverty and can barely afford food. Detroit. Ida acknowledges that Luz can't really eat many things since the boiling owls is so, well, weird and she can only specifically eat certain foods that she wastes more money on and time trying to find and buy said items. This leads Luz on a crusade to try to bounty hunt a giant sea monster to get money for Ida and prove that she is not a burden. Can this whole poverty burden type thing work well within the series as an ongoing problem? To me, it can. It provides a good source of conflict and a nice change of pace for the series, and at first, when it was introduced, I welcomed it. What if throughout the entire season, like I said, this was a constant nagging problem that affected important decisions and played a role in character development? Yeah, no, they completely throw it out of the window, and just do a giant reset with the sea monster giving them gold or whatever they can sell, arbitrarily resetting the entire conflict.
Tuna? That's Selkie Gris. People pay big money for it at the night market.
This problem speaks to an overwhelming problem with the show, and that is people act like Youngblood Old Souls never happened. Like, look at this motherfucker right here. I bet that he was in the crowd chanting for Ida to be free, and now I'm assuming a week later after the events of the season finale, he is scamming Ida and Luz out of money that they obviously need for food. I mean, did the episode not even happen? Did the episodes previous to that episode not even happen? Do people not like Ida anymore? You would assume that some of the residents would donate food or help them with money, at least Gus or Willow, but none of them help. This show gives you interesting ideas and interesting plot setups only to just pull the rug under you and just rip it apart because they don't care and they want to make their lives easier by making a simple plot, which is such a shame because this conflict legitimately could have worked, as well as many other conflicts like the curse. But now that the curse is not a nagging problem anymore because apparently Ida is cool with Lilith, it just faded into the background. Say goodbye to the interesting plot developments and say hello to more fan service. More on that in the next episode, but still, it is so disappointing. So far, Season 2 is starting off well in some aspects, but keeps falling in the same pitfalls that Season 1 suffered from. An inconsistent story and rules, a pacing so bipolar that it can go from slow and subtle to faster than the fucking speed of light. It's crazy. While there were many issues with characters and plot development, that does not mean all was lost, and there were many things done correctly, like certain character introductions like Owl Mask Guy's introduction and Lilith's character because I still like her. And the actual setup for the episode was decent until the conflict was ruined. Anyway, it was a fine episode, nothing that blew me away, but a definite overall improvement from Season 1. Hopefully it's uphill from here and the episodes are just gonna get better and better, but something in my mind makes me doubt that because as a person who doesn't like Dana Terrace or any of the people working on the show personally, they don't seem to be taking criticism that well, and the way that they write shows, I think they're getting way too comfortable with how they're doing right now because the Owl House is so incredibly popular. They feel like they don't have the need to progress the plot even more because they can just stay at a plateau and get a bunch of fucking money. You have shows like Amphibia, which go place to place and develop actually, that get okay viewership and okay attention from Disney, but nowhere near the amount the Owl House gets. So they have to go out of their comfort zone to make something more interesting for the viewer, and they succeed with that every single season. The Owl House, it's always the boiling owls and it's always the Owl House. Nothing different, which is kind of frustrating. So anyway, see you guys in the next review, and I hope this show does better in the future because I still hold out hope that this doesn't turn into a Star or a Steven Universe. Alright, see ya. Yeah, hey, I know it's been a month, but whatever, what can you do? School just ended, so I can pretty much focus on YouTube for most of the summer. That makes me very happy, and I'm going to be posting a lot of videos over the summer. Though, not guaranteed they'll be the longest, but there will probably be a video every other week, or every week, or even consecutive uploads within a week, if I'm up to it. But yeah, I'm very happy to be able to actually work on YouTube videos now since I was busy for the entire last month of school because of testing and stuff like that. I know, you already know. So anyway, thanks for sticking by, and if you do watch this video, thank you. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.